Well, 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 look what we have here. 46 seconds ago, Limbus Company. The Walpurgis kits are here. And thus, we will be reviewing them right now. We'll start with Ishmael, and we're going to get right into this. But as a lovely reminder to all of you people, we do these review kits literally within the minute that the kit, is revealed. We don't do these with numbers. We actually play the IDs when they come out on the day, and our opinions will change, or we'll figure out how things are. So don't take anything I say with 100% certainty. Besides that, I'm very excited. We actually have 2 pages-ish. So we got a 2-page Ishmael, 2-page Gregor. Now, Ishmael is the main banner. So we're going to be starting with her instantaneously. Boom! Instantly I see Tremor sinking. W. Obviously to work with her ego. Young Office Rep Ishmael. We have a 2-coin, Wrath. On use if the skill is in the same skill slot. Whoa. If the other skill in the same skill slot is a different skill, discard that skill. Okay. On use, gain coin power for every X tremor plus sinking on the target. Cool. First coined, on use, inflict sinking count. Head hit, inflict sinking count. Second coin, inflict tremor count. Second hit, inflicting count. Blah, blah, blah. Inflicting count. Inflict tremor count. Okay. And it's also Surigiri. I'm gonna butcher these names, but she's very cute. Alright, already so far, looks like a great coin. A great skill 1 to use. Second one, if the skill, we have Suzuki Misdirection. 3-coin Sloth, it is Sloth. On use, if the other skill in the same skill slot is a different skill slot, discard that skill. Okay, so her discard seems to work like it doesn't discard the same skill. That's very interesting. We'll get to that, because later. On use, coin power for every X tremor plus sinking on target. The first coin will inflict double sinking if you have head. The second one will inflict double tremor if you have, and the third one heals a little bit of SP. Okay, you know what? Very simple. We got 1 move that inflicts count, 1 move that inflicts tremor and potency. So far, so good. 3 coin. I do know that they only have coin power conditionals, so we'll see how the oh geez, I could see the skill 3 on the distance there. Oh, the skill 3-4 it looks like. No damage conditional so far, so I'm interested to see where the damage will come from. I assume from the passive and the discard gimmick. Then we have Sakura Sen, a 3-coin Gloom. This is also Mono Slash, I forgot to mention that. Deal more damage based on the bright potency on self. Interesting. If the skill in the same skill slot is a different skill, discard that skill. Gain coin power for every X tremor plus sinking on target. Simple. First coin will inflict tremor and sinking count. The head hit will also inflict more sinking count. The second coin will inflict tremor and sinking, and then on hit it will inflict tremor count. Then we have... Oh, wait, what? If the target is in either amplitude conversion or entanglement, this coin deals more damage. If it's not in amplitude conversion, trigger tremor decay. Oh my goodness. Tremor decay returns, dude. Oh my goodness. Welcome back, Tremor Decay. Welcome back, Tremor Decay. Very simple. Obviously, we have this unique skill called Bright here. We'll figure out what the heck that is later. We have Tremor Decay. We have not had this, obviously, since Weefy Heathcliff. And yeah, wow. Awesome. Simples. Now let's look at... Oh my goodness. Now let's have a look at this skill. We have Korzan. A 1-coin unclashable. Now, this is the unique skill, I believe, that was used, that does, like, the Super Omega Slash attack. 1-coin unclashable. This skill does not trigger defensive skills, and external effects cannot trigger this skill to be reused again. They are never letting coin get this again, dude. That's all I'm gonna say. At less than 3 bright potency, cancel this skill and gain attack power-up next turn. On use, at 3 plus bright potency, gain the following effects based on potency. Per 1 potency, the skill deals more damage. At 4 potency, gain base power. At 5 potency, on hit with the final reuse coin, trigger tremor burst, then reduce the tremor count. Skill and all bright on self expires. Next turn, convert the suite in this unit's hand to a random suite that corresponds to one of this unit's base skills. Oh no, she's gambling. Skill end. Gain bright potency next turn equal to the number of coins that weren't used. Pardon me? Oh! Reuse this coin bright -1 potency times. Okay, well, we know that this is a max of 5, so that means that has to be 4 coin reuse? Inflict trauma count, inflict seeking count. On heads hit, inflict defense level down. Okay, whoa. Excuse me? So first of all, first thing I want to note is, the big damage skill, obviously. This is a reuse. You have to activate it using bright. I don't see any way to get bright here. I assume it'll be the discard. Second, convert the suite in this unit's hand to a random suite that corresponds to one of this unit's base attack skills. I guess we're gonna have to read the passive for this one, but I mean, so far this looks like very simple, very strong. This is probably gonna be the strongest part of her kit, obviously. It's the Omega Coin Reuse Ring Sang 2.0, question mark? We have the Shuffle Hands Floral Deck. No way. Clashable Counter, 2 Coin Pride. Discard X skills of the lowest rank in all of this unit's skill slots. Combat start. If the skill was equipped on this unit's leftmost base skill slot, next turn convert the suite in this unit's hand on self to a random card suite that corresponds to one of this unit's base attack skills. Percent chance to gain bright potency. Gain coin power for every X bright potency on self, inflict sinking count, inflict tremor. Is she gambling? Wait, is this actually, are we actually getting RNG gambling in Limbus? Oh, no way, dude. Oh, boy. Ooh, this is going to be a long one. Guys, it's going to be a long one, I can already tell. We're not even halfway done with this. All right. We're going to come back to this when we figure out what bright does. Obviously, we're going on to the second page. I see a bunch of suites there. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just read the passives, shall we? We have Kaikoi. Koi. Turn start, if this unit does not have bright, gain 0 bright potency and 3 bright count. If this unit does not have a suite in their hand, gain a random suite. Pine Crane Suite, Suzuki Grass Suite, or the Blue Sakura Suite. That corresponds to the unit's skill on the leftmost skill slot. Okay, that's the colors we saw. Combat start. When this unit uses a base attack skill, or an ego skill, from its leftmost skill slot, activate the following. Next turn, convert the hand on self to one corresponding to the used skill's affinity. If the skill was either Sakura Sen or an ego skill, gain bright potency. If the skill's affinity matches the affinity on the current hand description, thus forming a hand, activate the following. Oh, we're gambling! Gain bright potency. If this unit formed a hand last turn and this turn of succession, gain more bright potency. On hit with said skill, trigger Tremor Burst, reduce the Tremor count, and then percent chance to gain ego resources corresponding to the skill affinity. At the skill's end, at 5 bright potency or 0 count, use Caution. Oh, she just automatically uses her unique skill 3? I'm sorry. Hold on, I just read. On Tails hit, heal SP. Deal more damage against targets in either the low morale or panic state. Guys, they put actual gambling in Limbus Company. We actually have to play poker now. We have to actually play poker. Oh my. Okay, support passive. Combat start. When one ally with at least SP uses a base attack skill to heads hit, it heals SP. Okay. Okay, cool. So a little bit of an SP support passive. This is funny. I just love reading that. On Tails, heal SP. Yo, I'm gonna be doing the best Sunshower Heathcliff Ishmael passive, dude. I'm gonna make sure I never get below minus SP. Now let's read the buffs, because yeah. Bright is obviously a base 0, max 5. Count is a base 3, max 3. Turn start gain offensive lot based on potency, and then turn start lose the count. Interesting. Hand Pine Crane Suite. So skill 1s gain base power. When this unit equips and uses a Wrath attack skill on its leftmost skill slot, activate the Forming Hand effect on the Koi passive. A Forming Hand effect obviously is over here, which is gain bright. Skill 2 gain base power, Suzuki Grass Suite. When this unit equips and uses a Slother-based skill or ego, activate the Forming Hand effect, gain the Koi passive. Okay, and then the skill 3, which is the Blue Sakura Suite. Skill 3 gains base power. When this unit uses a Gloom base or ego, activate the Koi passive. So, how does this work? Pretty much, this is how it works. So, from what I understand, and again, I am just looking at this for the first time. So, when you start your turn, you're going to be given a random suite. Okay? And you want to use the corresponding skills given to you on the suite. And the more you do that, the more bright potency you gain. Now, you have 3 turns to gain as max bright potency as you can. Because at the end of the 3 count, or when you reach 5, you will automatically use her skill 3. Which obviously, this is just automatic. Right? That's why it doesn't activate on reuse effects, because it's just automatic, right? So, the reason that these discard not the same skills is because you're trying to have unique suites per attack or turn. I think that's what I'm trying to get at here. And it looks like you could also just gamble for the bright potency with your card, and also this will always count as just a free discard. If the skill was equipped on the leftmost skill, next turn convert the suite in its hand onto a random card suite. Yeah, so you can always use... So this is shuffle. So this is literally a shuffle. The defense always lets you change. Okay? And the big gimmick, the big goal, is that you are trying to essentially play pattern recognition. If you see red, use the skill 1. If you see yellow, use the skill 2. If you see gloom, use the... light blue, use the skill 3. And you're kind of trying to follow that to get, like, maximum power. I will come back to this, obviously, to give my final thoughts, but that seems to be the TLDR on how this works. So we're going to move right on to Gregor, who is Tremor Bleed. Night All Capitano. Gregor, aka Alan. We have a skill 1, which is on use gain haste 2 coin. He is Mono Pierce, obviously. So on use gain haste next turn. Gain coin power for every bleed tremor on the target. Inflict tremor, inflict bleed, and then inflict something called open wound on the second coin. Now he has a skill 1 too, which I'm pretty sure is used when he staggers people, but we'll read it. So it's called, I don't know, Mercy, I guess. Unclashable. The skill does not trigger defensive skills and cannot gain eagle resources. Gain coin power for every missing HP on the enemy core. Deal more damage based on the enemy core lost, and if this enemy core HP is less than Z%, deal more damage. Gain haste, inflicts bleed, inflicts tremor, and inflicts open wound just in 1 coin. Okay, interesting. We have skill 2, this is a last. We have a 3 coin, Stiletto Doppio. On use, if the target has X plus bleed or tremor, gain coin power. Clash Win, inflict tremor and trigger tremor burst, then reduce the tremor count. Interesting, so you tremor burst on Clash Win. First coin will inflict tremor count and bleed count. Second inflicts open wound again. The third one is the enemy core HP is less than X%, or if the target has fatal wound, use Mercy. So this just uses your... Okay, so you just get a free unoppose if you have the conditionals for this skill too. Okay, interesting. Then we have Execution, which is a 4 coin. Did you see 4 coin? Alright, let's have a read. It is Pride. We have, before use, if the target has deep wound, activate the Night All instead. I assume that's an ascended skill 3. We have, on use, if the target has X plus bleed or tremor, gain coin power, Clash Win, inflict trigger. No, I'm stupid. Inflict tremor. I almost said inflict trigger. Inflict tremor burst, then reduce the count. Inflict bleed on the first coin. Inflict tremor and tremor count on the second. Inflict open wound on the third. Then we get hemorrhage. Oh my gosh, we have another hemorrhage unit. The fourth coin will inflict amplitude conversion. So this is conversion into tremorage hemorrhage. I'm just bruh. On hit, trigger tremor burst, and then reduce the target's tremor count. If the target is staggered, or has fatal wound, or if the enemy core is less, then use Mercy again. Okay, so you get 2 reuses of skill 1. Oh, here's the Night Owls. Oh my goodness, this is a bunch of unbreakable coins. I just noticed that, actually, Ishmael had no unbreakable coins. How funny. Speaking of unbreakable coins, the Night Owl. Deal more damage for every haste on self, and bind on target. W. If the target has shield, deal more damage in focus encounters. The core or parts deal more damage based on the enemy core's HP lost. If the enemy's core HP is less than a certain percentage, deal even more damage instead. Inflict defense level down. Gain coin power for every Y, bleed, and tremor on the target. Clash Win, inflict tremor, and then tremor burst. The first coin doesn't do anything. The second coin inflicts bleed and bleed count. The second inflicts tremor and tremor count. The fourth... that was the third, sorry. The fourth inflicts, again, hemorrhage, tremor burst. If the target has bind, you tremor burst again, and then convert target's deep wound into fatal wound. Okay. So that's how you get that deep wound and fatal wound. Then we have a block here, a power counter. Oh, Clashable Guard. Clashable Guard. For this turn, increase the number of times Mercy can be used when triggered by the effect Purge Enforcer of the Famigel. For 2 per turn. I assume that means when another ally staggers, right? Like in the trailer, he attacked twice with this skill. Gain haste next turn. Gain coin power for every bleed and tremor target, and then Clash with inflict tremor. Okay, it seems to be a very decent block. I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay. So far, very simple. It seems to do a lot of damage. Obviously, tremor hemorrhage. If you don't remember what hemorrhage does, that is essentially the scorch version of bleed. And he is tremor bleed, so welcome back, Encore Ryoshu. She never left. But we are now going to be moving on to see what the Deep Wound and Fatal Wound. Here is the second. What a beautiful man right here. First passive. Unless reused via external effects, Knight or Capitano Gregor skill Mercy can be used up to 2 times per turn. Okay, so he always gets 2 skill 1/2s per turn. And that means that the skill 3... That means the skill 3 increases it by, what, 1? Because it said so? I don't know. I'll have to look back on that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. Passive. Purge Enforcer of the Famigel. This is the one we saw. When this unit kills an enemy or breaks apart, gain Pierce power up next turn. When using a base attack skill, this unit's speed is faster than the target's inflict defense power down. On the target based on speed difference. After an ally's attack using base attack skills, if the core is less than X%, use Mercy on the target. If there is only 1 surviving enemy after the attack, this passive also activates when the target is staggered. Oh, okay. I get it now. So it's not after every stagger like we thought. It's after a certain amount of HP is lost, and then you automatically use it. Then we have the support passive, which is ally with the high speed. When using a base attack skill, if this unit's speed is faster, inflict defense power down on the target, defense power down. Oh, I didn't even notice I said defense power down. We haven't had a defense power down unit in a while, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I thought that said, defense level. I was thinking defense level. No, this is defense power. So this reduces, like, blocks, evades, counters. So free defense power down, which is situational, but could be good, especially for free. And then we have the... Holy crap. We have the 3 big wounds here. We have Open Wound, which is the first one you can get, which gains Bind next turn. At X amount of stacks, replace it with Deep Wound. Then we have Deep Wound, which is 3 stacks. When Tremor Burst is triggered, gain Bleed count. Cannot gain Open Wound in focus battles. The part gain stack -Y Bind next turn, reduce the stack. And then this is the conversion, which is when Tremor Burst is triggered on this unit, gain Bleed count. Probably more Bleed count, I assume. Cannot gain Open Wound, yep, and then gain Bind equal to the stack next turn, a lot of Bind, and then reduce stack. Okay. Wow. Alright. So, Gregor looks really, really cool. I do think he looks cool. I mean, he obviously looks cool, right? Like, I like that he can reuse his own skill 1/2. He's not reliant, it appears to be, on other characters. Like, he can pretty much activate himself. He's a very... He's definitely the assassino, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the man who will finish you off, I guess. Pause, right? Getting him low HP, breaking those body parts, getting the low, and then he, like, you know, tries to stab you. Very cool. I like I like this, like, this wound thing. It really rewards you for hitting the same person, right? So it's like, you know, and there's a lot of it that triggers open wounds. So you have skill 1 triggers open wound, the 1/2 open wounds, the skill 2 open wounds, the skill 3 open wounds, and then you get a free conversion on the skill 4, right? And how to activate it, you need to have deep wound. So really, and to get deep wound, by the way, you only need 2 stacks. Yeah. So you only need 2 stacks of open wound, assuming this most likely inflicts... I'm not really sure. At X stack replaces effect with deep. I assume that means at 2 stacks, right? Like, that would make the most amount of sense because it reduces at turn end. Oh no, this doesn't reduce at turn end, but this reduces... okay. So you hit 2, boom, you get deep wound, it starts at 1, right? But then how do you get more deep wound if you cannot gain open wound? If you only get, for example, 2, and then it's at 2. Unless it says it up here. The unique skill 3 converts deep wound to fatal wound. But how do you get more deep wound? I guess that's what we have to figure out. most likely. But I like that because more bleed count, that's given more to the tremor and bleed dynamic, which, I mean, hey, I'm all here for it. I'm a big Encore Ryoshu enjoyer. I'm a big fan. So I definitely am down with that. He looks like he's got a lot of count, more tremor count. I mean, yeah, more bleed count. He does have bleed count on what skill 2, 3? 2, 3, and 4, right? Or am I just... No, only on 2. And on the Ascended skill 3. So that's all the count, but obviously he inflicts on Tremor Burst, and he does... Oh, and that's why he Clash wins on Tremor Burst. Oh, he maintains the bleed in a Clash because he Tremor Bursts. I get it now. So, first things first, you're on a target, they got a lot of bleed on them, but they're lower on count. Boom. You hit them with the open wound, convert it into the deep wound. All right. Now they're in deep wound. Okay. Now all of a sudden, when you Tremor Burst them, they gain bleed count. Now we don't know how much it is. I'm gonna assume it's just 1. It doesn't say it reduces the stack, right? When you trigger it. That's important. It only reduces the stack at turn end. You have Gregor Clash. So Gregor clashes like with skill 3. Maybe it turns to Ascended skill 3. Boom. Clash when you Tremor Burst, right? That maintains the stack. So you're like boom, 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 boom. It could give you like 2 or 1, right? Let's assume it gives you maybe 1. And the enemy has 3, so and they're clashing with 2 coins, right? So you're like, oh no, 2 coins, I'm gonna die. The bleed next turn. Nope. Clash win. That pumps up to 2, so it brings it down to 1. You Clash win, pumps it up by 1 again. He hits them, probably gets another maybe 2 or 3 on them. Let's assume like 1 just for the instance. Now he's backed up to 3. Inflicts deep wound. Boom. You've reset the bleed count. You've given him bind, so you can maintain your speed, and you've upgraded the fatal wound, which probably does 2+ per tremor burst. So now you're like, oh baby. It might also be 1 per stack, potentially. It could be like, deep wound is like 1 per stack, but that sounds incredibly cracked if it is, because that would mean you get like 6 per tremor burst. But maybe it is. I don't know. It's a Walpurgis idea. Final thoughts. Ishmael's. Okay, so what is this competing with? Mola Ishmael, obviously. Now, Mola Ishmael's the other one. But Mola Ishmael's much more of a standalone sinking unit than, I would argue, than a Tremor unit, because obviously she has Tremor as a base. Like, she uses Tremor like a charge. Which is a little bit of Tremor infliction count. But this is definitely much more of a flat double keyword ID. Like, you are inflicting Tremor and sinking, you are inflicting sinking count. This looks like it was literally made, by the way, again, for the title elegy, right? Especially with the skill 3 being Gloom, and the very, very unique ability of egos counting as skills, which I do think actually helps with her RNG a lot. I think, because, like, how many Wrath skills does she have? She has Capote, Ardor Blossom, so that's 2 Wrath. Sloth, she has Christmas. She's got... Christmas. And then skill 4, she's got skill 3, she's got obviously Snag Harpoon, so her base ego, which is great. She's got Bygone Days, and she's got Title Elegy. So yeah, you looks like you might have to choose between that last 2 but you could definitely fit all 3 if you want, or you can RNG. She's got a full gamble gimmick, so like I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not really gonna be sure how. I mean, it has to obviously be stronger for the benefit of the abilities, right? Like, you are gambling to increase base power, you are gambling to increase damage. I really like the effect of Kozan. I like that it's not something that you activate yourself. It is something that you work toward, and you are rewarded the more you play, because of the way, it says here, it's like the more you gain bright, and you trigger the whatever they call it, forming a hand. The more hands you form, which, by the way, how you get hands is by using the affinity of the skill. Right? Using the affinity of the skill. Now, I will note, she is a discard unit, but she doesn't really discard. You know what I mean? She doesn't gain, like, power from discarding. She is discarding because she is literally, like, folding her hand. Which probably might upset a few people, because they were thinking of more like a traditional discard, like Mola Otis or the Dishis, right? So I can see how that might upset some people, but I think this is a cool use of the discard mechanic, like, obviously, right? We'll see. She doesn't have a lot of damage modifiers on her skill, so that could be a potential problem. But we'll see how much the Bright Because, like, if you can gain this, like, once every 2 turns for free, like, let's say it takes you 2 turns, every 2 turns, you're, like, you know, you get a little lucky, you can activate Bright, maybe 2 to 3 turns, you just get a full Bright. I mean, this is a 4 coin, remember, the max is 5, right? Max potency is 5 here. This is reuse -1, so it's 4. This is a 4 coin single target. You know, so Ring Sang 2.0, that's the first thing I thought of. I mean, it could be something like a base power like 2 plus 10. I'm not sure. Well, maybe. Or like, obviously it's unclashable, so it's not going to have a high clash power. And it does do more damage against base power. And I do think the skills are fine, because look, skill 1s are going to be the ones you have the most, so obviously a free count. So that's going to make it all neutral. That's all neutral, at the bare minimum. Skill 2, obviously, it's not any count at all, but look, there's a lot of sinking count you can work toward, and tremor count is not really something you're stressing about unless you're really burning tremor bursts. You know what I mean? Like, so besides the point, it is what it is, maybe potentially, who knows. And then you have Sakura-san, which has got a little bit of both. Definitely more focus on being like the standard damage attack. And it does convert into decay, which obviously the goal here is you want to decay into Kuzan. Right? And also, this inflicts defense level down on the same turn. So clearly the idea is you are building up as Sakura-san either being the last move or get an early Sakura-san. Sakura-sen, right? And if all of us, for whatever reason, you've got like all skill 1s and you've got like a different hand. So say you've got all skill 1s and you've got the grass suite. Hit the shuffle, baby. Boom. Maybe you get a 30% chance to gain a Bright, and maybe you get a new suite, and you discard everything. So this is like, you don't like your hand? Boom. And it's combat style, by the way, so you don't need to unuse it. And it does a little bit of count and tremor. Obviously, Gregor, we just spoke about it, but he definitely seems to want to be this kind of like, you really want to let him be doing the, you know, getting that low HP, I'm saying. I'm not sure how much low HP it's expecting of you, but he definitely seems very good if you want to have a different version of a bleed team, you know what I'm saying? Like, that tremor burst, he's got hemorrhage, so obviously he has all of this potential bleed count, I guess I'll say, because of the... It is potential bleed count because of the deep wound and the fatal wound account, so it makes up for his hemorrhage. And if you don't remember, hemorrhage does take away bleed count, so, you know, we'll see how it goes. He might consume so much that it's not worth it, or he might even himself out. My idea is I think he evens himself out, but he, you know, 1 or 2 extra little a little slide there, a little ID there, a little ego there. I'm sure you'll solve the issue, right? But it does look like he gets a lot of these mercies, and these mercies do inflict open wounds, so you could probably inflict open wound on a lot of people if you're doing a multi-suite of attacks. And the defense looks good. Another Lust clashable guard, so hell yeah. And it does increase his mercy from the Purge of Enforcer effect. So specifically from this effect, which is when he kills or breaks parts, he has speed difference. And then after an ally using a base attack skill is at less than attack. So it doesn't have to be dead. It has to be less than X HP. So, hey, I mean, if your bleed units are staggering someone, because remember, staggering or being at low H... Staggering or unopposing is the best way to save bleed count. So the idea, I think, is you have him go last, depending on how slow he is. But he has haste, so he might go first. And then you have everyone else unopposed. They bring him low. He gets free mercies. Boom, 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 boom. You inflict deep wound. You inflict open wound. You inflict fucking fatal wound. He wounds your fucking skull, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, we will be pulling, and we will also be discussing this on live stream after this video is uploaded. And that is going to be it. So, yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you on the live stream, and also we'll be pulling on Warpurgis. So, yeah, that's going to be everything. All right, see you guys.